Hey, how you doing, YouTube? I'm glad to see you're back. Yeah, hope everybody's doing well. So this is just a little holiday card, another option for holiday season. And in fact, I'm doing this one because my wife saw one that's in my journal, a yellow one, and she thought that would be cute for Christmas cards or holiday cards for us. So anyway, that's why I'm doing this one. In fact, when you by the time you see this, well, I've already printed, gone to Walgreens and made some 4x6 photographs from this one that I think is going to go out this year as our holiday card. And it's a simple one. You know, for those of you who draw, one thing I have to apologize. There is no photograph at the end of this. I just made this house up in my journal. I was just sitting around sketching and made up a house. So this house doesn't really, well, maybe it exists somewhere, but anyway, for those of you who are trying to draw or learning to draw, this is really simple. If you look at the main large shape is just a vertical rectangle, you know, big square kind of thing, and then with a triangle on top. You know, so what you do is you just put that there and then start adding all the little pieces that you want. I'm sure you can do it. I think you need to give it a shot. Anyway, this one I make it yellow when you see it, when we start painting. We'll make it yellow, and I'm kind of annoyed at myself because I wanted some blue to complement the yellow, so the trim I do in blue, but it's a little too dark. I think if I had it to do over, or if I was going to do it again, I would do it, paint the trim in teal. And you might not, may want to divide the windows, smaller or larger. In other words, not so many little squares. Just divide the windows into 4 windows in each thing instead of quite so many. I divided it up a lot, and I noticed that made it difficult to make it nice looking, at least in a 5x7 format. Or for a quick drawing, I mean, if you really want to take a lot of time with them. But this one's a quickie. This is just a little, you know, kind of the thing you do in your sketchbook. Like I always say, it's just for you to have an opportunity to practice. And if you make one, who knows, maybe yours will be better than mine, you know. Probably so, if you take your time with it. I'm still using Indian ink. I think I used Indian ink on the last post. I'm just enjoying it, enjoying the quills there. And you'll see I used those little tiny Nalgene bottles. I really like that idea, and I carry 2 or 3 of those little small bottles, and they're never full. You know, I keep them about 1/3 full, just enough so that the quill, the nib, sticks down into the bottle, and basically when the tip of the nib hits the bottom of the bottle, it has filled the nib without getting ink on the handle, or at least not as much. I mean, India ink's a little messy if you're, no matter how careful you're with it. You know, I always end up with some on my hand. So I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, you know, one thing I need to be sure and mention is, now that the holidays are upon us, I'm going to slow down a little bit. I'm only going to produce 1 video a week for about the next 3 weeks. I'll start putting up 2 a week again, probably the 2nd week of January. It's just, we have a large holiday season coming this year. Just busy. People come to the house, and there's some things in the house. We had a kind of a homeowner's disaster, I guess you'd call it. Bathroom started getting stopped up, and ended up having to take the stool off, the toilet off, and there was a tree growing in the sewer, so roots growing down there, so yeah, it caused, anyway, I'm still dealing with that. And then I may have mentioned in another video, well, so we had a heck of a storm here a couple of months ago, and bad enough that a friend called us from about 50 miles away and told us there was tornado warnings, which this part of New Mexico, we never get tornadoes, but anyway, there was one. It didn't come over by us, and it was small, but by comparison, I mean, it was nothing to talk about when if you live in Tornado Alley, you know, Oklahoma, in that area. But the point is, it did flood my shed / studio, and so I'm still dealing with that. Anyway, the point is, we're really swamped right now, so I'm going to slow down a little bit on the videos and get through the holiday season, and then we'll pick it up again. Yeah, I think if you, some people, we have too many people for me to do this. You know, we just go to Walgreens and print a bunch of them and then address them and label them. Well, actually, my wife does that part. I don't do much of that. And mails out a little card to everybody. Well, some artists do individual cards, and this one is a simple enough one if you practiced it a couple of times, you know. You could probably draw it reasonably quickly and maybe not put in very much detail, and make your own handmade little cards, you know. You could even change the colors, you know, make a red house, a blue house. You know, with a red house, you could, I don't know, put green maybe as your trim for Christmas. Little prosaic, huh? So yeah, you could make a blue house with yellow trim. You could just change it up, have some fun with it, you know. And I'm not even being true. I mean, it's kind of an evening scene, but I didn't put, because the house was yellow, I didn't put lights in the windows. And so there's no light really on the ground, on the snow. You'll notice here, it's kind of funny, I forgot to put the wreath in. There's a wreath that's going to go there. But it works out, oddly enough. It worked out pretty well at the end. If you guys, hey, you know what, comment on this second angle. I'm trying to get to where I'm putting in a B camera roll with my phone, and to give it a little more interest, you know, just change it up so it's not a boring video. So let me know if you do or don't like them. Make a comment. Let me know what's going on. If you like it just straightforward, or I don't know if I mentioned this. I just want to make sure that everybody knows two things: that I'm slowing down for January until the middle of January to one a week, one video a week, and there is no photograph of this one. It's just something out of my head. I had one similar that I had drawn in my journal, but that one didn't come from a photograph or a reference either. I was sitting there bored, just thinking about what to do, so I was scribbling. A lot of times I scribble and it helps me think when I'm filling out a to-do list. Yep, on this one too, I didn't use, you know, I've mentioned before I don't like using masking fluid. It's just a pain in the tuchus. Unless, if you're doing really nice paintings, I can see the value of it, but on these little sketches, so it's just time consuming and kind of in my way. So anyway, I did leave some spots for white, try and leave some snow, but I do use just a little bit of white at the end of it. Now you see that blue. If you do one with blue, I was looking for blue to complement the yellow, but this blue came out just, I believe it's probably ultramarine, but no, it could be cobalt. In any case, my suggestion would be to use teal, something that's going to show up a little bit more than this did. This has got a little bit dark. It's funny how when you watch these videos, the more I watch them, the more I see things that I would have liked to have done. Well, I hope I'm not repeating myself too much here. I had to record this twice because, as you guys know, I record the sound on my iPhone and with a program called iTalk. And the first time I recorded it, I let a 9-minute something second video or recording go before I turned it off and tried to email it to myself. I always have to stop in the middle of these videos and do 2, sometimes 3 recordings because they won't email. Well, anyway, it didn't come through. So I had to do the sound twice here. Yeah, there's the little wreath. And oddly enough, it came out. I thought I would probably have to repaint because of that wreath, but in the photographs that we did, it looks pretty good. But yeah, if you want to do hand-painted cards for people that are, close to you, I'd draw this very similarly, you know what I mean? You can change it up for each card with just a few changes. Leave one room off on the back there, put a stovepipe instead of a chimney, turn one blue and the next one red. Put a little bit of very light mountains in the background, or another couple of pine trees, and just do them 4 up or whatever kind of sheet you've got, and make yourself several of them. Like I say, I don't do that because I don't have I have to make enough. We'd probably send out 30, 40 cards, so I'm not going to do 40 of them. Hate to admit that I'm that lazy, but I'm not lazy, man. I'm not lazy. I just don't have time. I'm busy. Busy. Right now, I haven't talked about this one, but my mother wrote a book a couple years ago, published when she was 80 years old. God bless her, man. She's still a mover and a shaker. Anyway, she's now making a movie short of that book, and I'm not really a storyboard artist, but I'm trying to storyboard the script for them, for the people that are making it, and she has big hopes for it, but and you never know, it could happen. She could make a movie. She wants to make a movie out of the book, but of course that takes money. So that's why she's trying to make a short, Anyway, in the future, maybe I'll put a little bit in about storyboarding. Well, listen, guys, I've rambled on enough, maybe too much. Sorry about that. Kind of lost track when I started recording the second time. But as always, I tell you, I really did enjoy doing this one. It was a lot of fun, and it was just as much fun in my journal when I did the first one. Draw something, sketch a little bit, or get out and do whatever it is you do that's creative. Be sure and do a little creative stuff every day. And there it is. We'll throw a little signature on it. They look real nice if you want to do one yourself. I go to Walgreens and just have them, I print 4x7s and stick them on cards, and mail them out. Well, as always, aha doodly boop. Y'all take care. Thanks for stopping in. Like, share, and subscribe, all that stuff. And take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.